They found her journal sewn inside the hem of her dress, pages soaked in blood, ink smudged by rain, but legible enough to damn an entire institution. Inside, crude sketches of brain incisions, lists of names, and a single sentence, scrawled again and again like a prayer or a warning. We were hollowed before we were healed. This was never meant to be read. These truths were never meant to surface. For over 2 centuries it was buried, hidden in sealed vaults, erased from history books, and whispered only by the few who escaped with their sanity fractured and their spirits mutilated. The Hollowborn Legacy doesn't begin in a castle. It begins in a convent, but not the kind where nuns whisper rosaries. No, this was a fortress disguised as faith, a machine built not to save, but to erase. Women entered one version of themselves and left as shadows of strangers. Some never left at all. This is not a ghost story. It's not myth. What you're about to hear is carved into sealed testimonies, recovered correspondences, and blacked-out ledgers from European institutions that paid for the kind of knowledge you only get when morality is removed from medicine. This tale isn't about religion. It's about power, a quiet surgical power that slips beneath doctrine and decency. And if you think you're immune, think again, because the tools they pioneered, the conditioning they perfected, didn't die with them. It evolved. It was renamed, repurposed. And today it wears a different mask. You see, the Ashford sisters were only the beginning. They weren't monsters. They were architects. And the blueprint they left behind has been followed ever since, by governments, institutions, think tanks, and therapeutic centers that claim to heal, but strip identity to its core. You've felt it, haven't you? The weightless numbness in modern life, the sense that something essential was scraped out of you long ago. That hollow place inside your thoughts that no distraction fills, that isn't natural, it's legacy, the Hollowborn Legacy. You were never meant to hear this story, but now you have. And once you start, you'll never see yourself the same way again. 15 miles from Millbridge, Maine, the road ends. What's left beyond that point isn't marked on maps, not in ink anyway. A worn trail cuts through pine forest, thick with fog and the kind of silence that weighs heavier than noise. If you followed that path in 1802, you'd reach a gray structure half swallowed by the trees. Locals called it the House of Sorrows. Officially, it was the Convent of Eternal Tears, but it was never a convent. Stone walls 3 feet thick, no windows below the second floor, a bell that never rang. The building rose like a tomb, not a temple. Its architecture more fortress than faith. Inside, it smelled of damp ash, iron, and something floral that didn't come from any flower. 3 women ran the place, Agatha, Prudence, and Temperance Ashford. Sisters by name, not by blood. Their origin is unclear. England claimed them, the Vatican denied them. But those who met them remembered their eyes. Cold, ancient, clinical. Not cruel, but completely devoid of warmth, like surgeons observing a patient already dead. They arrived with forged letters from Anglican bishops and enough gold to build whatever they wanted. No one asked where the money came from. No one ever does, especially when that money builds jobs, pays debts, and offers troubled families something they desperately crave, a place to send their broken daughters. Because that's what the convent promised. Transformation, redemption, silence. If your wife screamed in her sleep, if your daughter refused her arranged marriage, if she read too many books or challenged your word at the dinner table, send her here. The Ashford sisters would fix her. No one talked about what fixing meant. 600 women entered over 30 years. Fewer than half were ever seen again. And those who returned were wrong. They walked differently, spoke slower, laughed at nothing. One woman, Eliza Morton, returned after a 3-month stay. Her diary ended the day she came home, but her mother wrote letters to a friend. She won't look at me. She just stares. It's like her soul was cauterized. Whatever happened behind those stone walls was methodical, controlled, institutional, because the Ashfords weren't experimenting. They were refining, and refinement requires repetition. You must understand, this wasn't madness. It was science, a darker kind. One you're not supposed to believe exists, but it does, and its roots still wind beneath the foundations of our world.